Well, good morning. Welcome to another new week of life and of Lent. I'm Sara, one of the ministers at Meeting House Church, and I'm really happy to be able to kick the week off or find you midweek to spend this time to be able to reflect together. Right now, we're in the middle of a series entitled Just Jesus. It's our Lenten theme, and Lent is that 40-day journey that we take towards Easter, the way that Jesus walked the way to Jerusalem, echoing the way that Jesus for 40 days was in the wilderness, and before that, the people of Israel, after they had emerged from slavery in Egypt, they for 40 years wandered about in the desert as they came to the Promised Land. So during this time, we've been asking ourselves, and we're going to be asking ourselves moving forward, who do you say Jesus is? Who does Jesus say Jesus is? And each week we're picking up another theme, and if you were able to hear my sermon in our traditional service this past week or the week prior, I was in alternative service. I raised that exact question coming out of Scripture, where Jesus asks the disciples, who do you say that I am? Depending upon if you're in Matthew or in John, it's translated a little bit differently. But that question, who do you say that I am? Now, many of the answers that we have to that question, they're things we learn in Sunday school, or maybe some of the answers that we think we should give. Some might be things we really deeply believe. I asked us to follow with one of my mentors, though, in just shifting that question a little bit, to ask ourselves, what does it mean to hear Jesus say, who do you need me to be? Who do you need Jesus to be? Now, I don't mean this in the, how can I get my ego protected and make sure I stay safe, or I'm going to get mine from Jesus. No, this question, us hearing that from Jesus, is that soul level, real, true, authentic self, the person that God created you to be underneath any of the layers of self-protection or shame. Hearing that question from Jesus, who do you need me to be? I know for me, this question has been one, even if I didn't hear it that way or hear Jesus asking it, it's a question that's animated my life and faith. Faith first became alive to me when I was told about John 3:16 and read it at a backyard Bible camp. For me, the idea that God was love meant everything to me as a kid. My family life in many ways was chaotic. And knowing that God was for me, God held me, God saw me, God loved me. In fact, God loved all of us. It gave me the ability to continue to move forward in hope, trusting myself and the adults in my life that they too were held by a God of love. Interestingly, in so many ways, listening to Jesus ask me that question as a grown-up, it really hasn't changed. I still am a person who needs to know and hear from Jesus. I need you to be love. I need you to be about love. Jesus, is your love really for everybody? Jesus, is everyone truly included in this? Jesus, do you care about the people who are suffering? Do you care about victims of domestic violence and other types of violence? Do you care about little girls and grown women? Do you care about rich and poor, people of every different kind of person and way of being? I need to hear Jesus remind me that the answer is always yes. So one of the things that I need Jesus to be and need to hear from Jesus is that affirmation that God is love embodied in Jesus. And as part of that, for me as I've aged, who do you need me to be? I've needed to know that Jesus, that God with skin on, the God who died, suffers with, holds the tears of, and cares for those who are without hope, who know what it is to be marginalized or oppressed, that God truly is in the business in Jesus of a kingdom that is a kingdom for everyone. So for me, those are two of the things when I sit with that question. Who do I need Jesus to be? I need Jesus to be love. And Jesus to be the one who suffers with, so that all of us, including me, might know life. How about you? In your skin, in your story, who do you need Jesus to be? Take some time this week and answer honestly in response back to Jesus. And may God meet you in that, in ways that heal and surprise and open you up to the God who was and is love embodied in Jesus. Have a really great week.